Good evening and welcome to the 19th Annual Mentor Celebration. I'm Marissa Smith with the University of Minnesota Alumni Association. In previous years, we've filled McNamara Alumni Center with students, mentors, faculty, and staff to celebrate another successful year of mentorship. However, this year, like so many other milestone moments, we are joining together in community through our screens. So whether you are watching at your desk or on your couch with pets, roommates, or children nearby, I am so glad that you are here. Events like this really highlight the strength and support within the University of Minnesota community. However, this support does not happen all on its own. Before we turn our attention and gratitude to our mentors, I'd like to take a moment to recognize the colleges and the mentor coordinators who spend countless hours planning, recruiting participants, and making more than 1,000 student mentor matches across the University of Minnesota. These staff work tirelessly to make it all happen in colleges where such formal mentor programs exist, like pharmacy, veterinary medicine, the Humphrey School of Public Affairs, the Hubbard School of Journalism and Mass Communication, and the 6 colleges who are participating in tonight's celebratory event. Please join me in commending Abby Little with the College of Food, Agricultural, and Natural Resource Sciences, Andrea Hansen and Joelle Larson with the College of Science and Engineering, Sarah Pennebecker with the School of Public Health, Veronica Paproka, Amy McDonald, and Sarah Wojnicki-Smith with the Carlson School of Management, Courtney Barrett, Lisa Garrett, and Alyssa Bigelow with the College of Continuing and Professional Studies, and Brian Green with the College of Design. Thank you for all the work that you do to provide meaningful mentoring opportunities for the students and alumni in your college. Next, I'd like to thank the members of the University of Minnesota Alumni Association. Without the support of our members, we could not provide campus-wide events like this to enrich the lives of alumni, support student success, and strengthen the University of Minnesota. Alumni Association members also support career resources like the Maroon and Gold Network, our online platform for career advice, networking, and mentorship. There are nearly 10,000 students and alumni participating on the platform for free thanks to our members. If you'd like to learn more about the Maroon and Gold Network, and I think you should, visit the link found in the chat. And if you're interested in becoming an Alumni Association member, tonight is a great night to do so since we have a special offer just for mentors. When you join or renew your membership, your mentee will also receive a free student membership for 1 year, and it's a great way to showcase the lifelong support that the Alumni Association provides. More on this a bit later on. For now, it is time to kick off tonight's program. And to begin, it is my pleasure to welcome the University of Minnesota President, Joan Gable.
Good evening. Tonight we're celebrating mentorship, the unique relationship that enriches the lives of all involved. Since the early 1990s, thousands of students have been matched with alumni and friends of the University of Minnesota for valuable and supportive mentoring experiences. On behalf of the students and staff tuning in tonight, I'd like to offer my sincere appreciation for all of our mentors. For some of you, this may be the first year giving back in this way. For many of you, you continue to participate year after year. Whether you're new or a veteran, thank you for sharing your time, talent, and expertise with our students. And to our students, you made an outstanding decision to enhance your educational experience by participating in your college's mentor program. You took a risk, you opened yourself up to networking, to asking questions, and seeking advice. Thank you for the time and effort you put into this mentoring relationship. It is definitely a two-way street. Collectively, we have faced new and unprecedented challenges this past year. Traditional experiences associated with mentoring, a day of job shadowing at the office, sharing a conversation at the coffee shop, for example, they were put on an indefinite hold. And yet, like so many of the University of Minnesota community and beyond, you persisted through the uncertainty. You stayed committed to this experience, even with additional layers of stress and ambiguity. And for that, I say thank you again and again. Mentorship comes in many forms, from formal programs like this to informal relationships with special people we meet along the way. Regardless of how it comes about, the impact can be profound. And who better to hear about the impact of mentors than from the mentees themselves? The Alumni Association asked the students participating in this year's mentor programs to share what their mentoring experience has meant to them. So at this time, it's my pleasure to turn things over to our dedicated and talented students.
Because of my mentor, I have the confidence to go forward, knowing that my dreams and my goals are worth fighting for and believing in. Thank you, Lisa.
Because of my mentor, I feel confident that I'll be ready to enter the job market come end of senior year. Thanks, Gavin.
Because of my mentor, I've been empowered to discover my authentic self and also to realize that my skills and talents can be put to work in so many ways. Thank you, Mary Kay.
Because of my mentor, I feel more confident in my career path, and I also know that I have someone I can go to give me trusted career advice or academic advice or just anything else. So thank you so much, Maggie, and congratulations on your new job.
Because of my mentor, I learned more about how industry compares to college. My mentor helped me be more confident in my choice of major, improve my presentation skills, and be more open to taking opportunities. Thank you, Catherine Bless.
With my mentor, I've been able to practice my professional networking skills and also explore different avenues for my future career. Thank you so much, Patty. It's been such a pleasure.
Because of my mentor, I have better understanding of the curriculum of this program and also be able to learn some of the future work content. I think my mentor is a very good resource vendor and also a very kind person to talk with. Thank you, Rebecca.
Because of my mentor, I'm able to get connected with really amazing people within my field of interest and organize and recognize my creative skill sets and where to place them. Because of my mentor, I'm able to gain insight and direction when following my path as a creative and as a student. So thank you, Susan Sheffield.
Because of my mentoring experience this year, I was able to develop my communication skill, examine my interests, values, and skills, and identify my career path options. Thank you, Anthony.
Because of my mentor, I have learned more about my future career field and made meaningful lifelong connections. Thank you for the advice and support, Amanda.
Because of my mentor experience, I have made connections across the marketing and communications industry within agriculture to help me kickstart my professional career following college. Thank you, Paige.
Because of my mentor, I was able to figure out what I want to do once I receive my degree. And he helped me find the tools to get a career that fits that passion. Thanks, Pete.
Because of my mentor, I realized the opportunities that Carlson and companies in the metro area have available to women such as myself. Thank you, Cassandra, for your advice and helping me jumpstart my undergraduate career here.
I'd like to thank my mentor, Andy. Because of my mentoring experience, I have been able to stay on track with exploring new career directions and examining what skills I need to be successful in the future.
Because of my mentor, I was able to land an internship for the summer. So Eric, thank you so much for your help.
Because of my mentor, I have successfully secured my first summer internship. I also feel more comfortable networking with professionals in my field and have a better understanding of the industry roles one can acquire with my degree post-graduation. Overall, I feel that I have grown tremendously as an individual and as a future engineer. Thank you, Sandra.
Because of my mentor, I felt supported throughout my entire graduate journey at UMN. I've also been inspired to use my skills and my professional career to make meaningful changes and improve the healthcare experience for patients, families, and the community. Thank you, Dr. Stephen Waldoff.
Because of my mentor, I'm more comfortable now than I've ever been, reaching out to individuals for help when I do need it, and also stepping out of my comfort zone. Thank you so much, Dr. Tron.
Because of my mentor, I now feel confident in my ability to navigate different careers, companies, and other opportunities, and to find the perfect fit for me. Thank you, Steve.
Because of my mentor, I've learned I have a variety of gifts to offer, and it's okay to not know exactly what you want to do with your life yet. I feel valued for all the work I've been putting into my activities, and I know I have the power to make a difference. Thank you for everything, Jane.
Because of my mentoring experience, I've better learned how to recognize my skills and market them to reach positions. I've also learned how to better evaluate if that company is the right fit for me. Thanks so much, Angie.
Because of my mentor, I've gained a lot of insight into different career and life paths. As a result, I feel much more confident in my own path after graduation, and I've learned how to be assertive in shaping my career. Thank you so much, Marie.
Because of my mentor, I was able to secure a co-op for this summer and fall. Thank you, Preetham.
Thank you to President Gable for those great words, and to all the mentees who took the time to share with us a little bit about your mentor and your mentoring experience. It is clear that the impact has been felt across the university. This is also a good time to mention that I'll be sharing the recording with everyone who registered for tonight's event with you after the event. So if you want to go back and rewatch anything, you'll have an opportunity to do so. So at this time, I'm very excited to introduce our guests for our fireside chat about mentorship. Tonight, I'll be talking with alumni Alex West Steinman, Clint Schaff, and Chantal Pye about the impact of mentorship on their personal and professional journeys. We were chatting just a little bit before the event started, and it was already a really fun conversation. So I am, again, just very pleased to have you all here, and thank you for taking the time to share your stories with us. Let's get started with some introductions. So I was hoping you could start by telling us about yourself. Let's talk about who you are. What did you study at the University of Minnesota, or what are you currently studying? When did you graduate? And a little bit about what you are up to now. So Alex, let's start with you, and then on to Chantal, and then we'll finish up with Clint.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alex West Steinman, co-founder and CEO of The Coven. We're a community and workspace for women, non-binary, and trans folks in the Twin Cities. We have a digital community as well. I graduated in 2011. I always have to do the math. I studied at the J School at the time, and now Hubbard School of Journalism and Mass Communications, and I studied strategic communications and PR, and ended up in the advertising industry for a decade before starting my own business.
Thank you, Alex. Chantal?
Hi, I'm Chantal. I graduated from CFANS with a degree in plant sciences in 2018 and didn't get enough of the U, so I stuck around. I'm now a law student at the University of Minnesota Law School. I'm going to be graduating in May. After that, I'm going to work for a judge for a year, which is kind of a standard thing in law school. It doesn't happen in a lot of other fields. And then I will be working at Frederickson and Byron in energy and environmental law. So continuing some of the CFANS interests after law school.
And Chantal, you've been a mentor in the CFANS program this past year, is that right?
I sure have. My mentee couldn't make it. She's actually currently studying abroad in France. So I'm sorry we're missing her, but she's fantastic. I could brag about her for the rest of the program.
That's wonderful. Clint, how about you?
That's awesome. Thanks, Marissa. Thanks for having us all. My name is Clint Schaff. I'm a CLA graduate from 2000. Not quite as old as this 1940s Gopher sweater that I took out and squeezed myself into. I studied journalism and political science at the U. Was really busy I started a magazine, worked at the Daily, was involved with my fraternity, but and I've continued to be involved. I've been on the UMA board of directors and served as the LA group leader. In my work, I'm vice president of the Los Angeles Times. You probably know us as a newspaper, but I lead our efforts related to podcast, television, and film. So we've had projects like a podcast turned television show called Dirty John, and a bunch of other really fun projects that keep us busy. So really happy to be here today.
That sweater is amazing. Thank you for repping the maroon and gold. So let's keep things going with kind of a fun, silly question. I'm wondering if you could work with any mentor, dead or alive, who would it be and why? And Clint, this time let's start with you, and then Alex, and then Chantal.
All right. I mean, I don't have a silly answer. I have a pretty sober, real answer, but mine is I would want to learn from someone who I don't know, that I, to my own dismay, don't know enough about. So the person I'm going to share is Madam C.J. Walker. Madam C.J. Walker was the first millionaire, a Black woman in America to be a millionaire. And she built this cosmetics fortune in the late 1800s and early 1900s against all the odds of the time for someone with her, of her race and of her gender. And so wow, I would want to know everything about Madam C.J. Walker and how she found success, and not only in business, but as a philanthropist and as a political and social activist, because I want to bring all that stuff to the table in my life as well. So I'd love the chance to speak with Mrs. Walker.
That's a great answer. Chantal?
Yeah, I had a hard time with this one too. Partly because I feel like all the best mentors in my life have been people who are like just a step ahead of me in my career, or like who were just in my shoes. But I really did think about this for a long time. But after a lot of thought, I really would like to have Justice Alan Page, as my mentor. For those of you who don't know, Justice Page was a Minnesota Viking, and he played for the Bears too. But I think he and the rest of us should try to forget about that. He has run the Twin Cities Marathon several times, and he also was a Minnesota State Supreme Court justice. Justice Page is Black. He was a Black man in law school in the late 60s and early 70s, which is like just hard to believe. Like this is still the time period where Jim Crow laws are disappearing, and he's literally studying the law. That's incredibly impressive. But he also, despite having so many things to be really mad about, like gets mad in the calmest, most thoughtful, most effective way I've ever seen someone get mad. He like brings thoughtful lawsuits. He brings in like every partner you can imagine, whether it's a business partner or like politician, to get stuff done. And even in his 70s is currently in the process of suing the Twin Cities public schools for maintaining segregation through busing practices, through school districting, as a violation of the civil rights of the children of the state of Minnesota. And he's doing that in his 70s. So I would love to learn more about how he gets the energy to both be angry and like keep pushing for change while also like staying reserved and thoughtful and like building partnerships wherever he can.
It's a great answer. Thank you for sharing that. And how about you, Alex?
Those are great answers. I think it won't be a surprise to anybody who has met me that Oprah is my favorite human being on the planet. And I would love to meet Oprah and have her as a mentor. I think what she's built, the empire that she's built, from, absolutely nothing, from like a studio stage that nobody even wanted her to have, is the most incredible story of our time. And I think what she's been able to build and give back to both publicly and privately, I find really inspiring. So I would love to have Oprah as an awesome mentor.
I know mentoring is meant to be this like kind of personal experience relationship between you and another person, but I'm going to invite myself to all of your first meetings with your mentors. Just pull up an extra seat. I'll buy the coffee when that's allowed again, because those are all really spectacular choices for our imaginary mentors. Although Chantal, yours is a University of Minnesota alum. And at the Alumni Association, we like to say, alumni will be there for other alumni no matter what. So I think that one could actually, pan out. Sorry, Clinton, Alex.
I'm interested in meeting Judge Page as well. Let's do this.
Yeah. run the marathon. I hear that now he hands out water somewhere along the route to runners. That's your ticket in.
I can join him in handing out water. Yeah. I will not be taking it as a runner.
I know. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the role that mentoring has played in each of your journeys so far. As you thought about tonight's conversation and the mentors that you might have met along the way, what came to mind? And this time, Chantal, let's start with you, and then Alex, and then Clint.
Yeah, I hate to just keep being a University of Minnesota mentor program stan, but
we don't hate that at all.
I met a law student when I was in my senior year of college. I was like loosely interested in law school. I knew I wanted to do something in energy and environmental justice, in combating climate change. I knew I didn't want to be a researcher in plant sciences, but I actually didn't know how I was going to do that. Until I met then a law student, now a lawyer, Devin Driscoll, through one of the many mentor programs at the University of Minnesota. And Devin persuaded me, perhaps I didn't need a ton of persuading, but like convinced me that law school was going to be a good path for me. And since then has become like the mentor I text when I'm frustrated with my boss and I don't know what to do, like the mentor who I go to when I don't know what to do when I didn't get a job when I thought I needed a job, right? And I think the best mentors are the people you can go to vent with a little bit and to like blow off just a little steam, but also who will like give you a kick in the pants when you need it and make sure you're getting back in the game, like pursuing your goals and sticking with it. And so Devin came to mind the minute I saw that this program existed at all. She's been a fantastic mentor for me.
I love that. I wouldn't have necessarily thought of that right away as like that person that you can go to say, this is really frustrating me right now, or this isn't going the way I thought, and kind of help get you, back where you want to be in terms of your mindset. How about you, Alex?
If I remember my first mentor in undergrad, it would have been my first advisor, my first academic advisor in the College of Liberal Arts, who is Ellen Sunshine, who might be on this call, who knows. But she is one of the most amazing human beings on earth, and her last name is Sunshine. So you can't argue with that. But really, when I first entered college as a freshman, I was definite as a Taurus. I am a human who is very strong-headed and like knows what they want and will like bulldoze through anything to get there. And was committed to being a theater producer and graduating with a BFA in theater, and started the program and took my first theater class and was like, absolutely not. And she was the person I walked, and I remember the summer orientation, she was like, are you sure that you want to commit to this right now? And I was like, absolutely, I know what I'm doing, lady. And I remember coming into her office after like the first 2 weeks of class and being like, this is absolutely not where I want to be. I was like, this is not my line of work. And she like held me in a really kind way, with consent, and was like, you're gonna get through this. Like, you don't have to know everything. You don't have to know what you want to be. You don't have to even like what you're doing right now. And there's going to be moments like that throughout your entire life. And she's really the first person to tell me no. And that was a really like, it resonated with me and made me, angry in some ways. But I think she knew that that's what I needed to hear, was like, it's okay to not do this. And she helped me kind of like hone that creative power and show me a new path to the J School, which I really excelled in, and graduated with honors and ended up speaking at commencement. And there were just like, it was exactly that path that she was able to set me on, that led to a lot of great successes and loves in my life.
I love that, Alex. I don't know if Ellen is with us tonight, but I know some of her advisees probably are. And I also wonder, as you were talking, how many mentors on the call thought to themselves, I had to say that this year, that are you sure? And it's okay not to have it all figured out. It's okay not to have it all figured out. How about you, Clint?
What roles mentoring played for me? It's been everything. Anything I've been able to accomplish has been on the shoulders of other people. And I guess I like to, that saying that friends are the family you choose. I kind of feel like mentors are like the, parental figures you get to choose, and you get to choose. You might get matched up with them or something, but generally you get to choose who you sustain a relationship with. And I love that idea that there can be people who have similar impact in giving approach that's generally pretty selfless and about helping the other person. And those people can stay with in your life for a long time, or they can be there for a short period and come and go. I love that. And I know I've certainly benefited from it. And I'm in my 40s now, and as I've reached that age, I've actually kind of centered around how do I set up structures by which people can mentor one another, and kind of tweaked my approach to networking a bit, and mentoring as networking as mentoring is kind of my approach nowadays. But so many examples of that. I mean, one I'll just share quickly. My high school journalism teacher we bonded over music growing up, and then that's how I got really into that. My first 5 jobs were in journalism. I was a newspaper delivery boy, a sports clerk at the Bismarck Tribune in North Dakota, little low-level journalism jobs. And to think that, a couple decades later, I'd be living in California working for one of the largest newspapers blows my mind. And it would not have happened were it not been the mentorship that, that individual gave me when I was a 14-year-old kid. And we all, have people like that have looked out for us. And I think, we should all be so lucky to be that for other people as well.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought up that idea too of sustaining the relationship at some point, because that's something that I'm guessing a lot of our attendees tonight are thinking a lot about is, as I wrap up this formal year of mentorship, this pairing that has come to me maybe less organically than some of the other mentoring relationships I've experienced in my life. How can I keep the relationship alive so that it can continue to be beneficial for me going forward? And I'm also really glad that you brought up this idea of how mentoring has continued to evolve for you, because I'm really curious about how you think the role of networking and mentoring may evolve in the next 5 to 10 years. The pace and the scope of change in our world is just accelerating. It feels like the brakes are broken. So as you think about the future of networking and mentoring, either for you as an individual or just sort of for us as a society and our culture, what do you think about? And Clint, this time, let's start with you, and then Chantal, and finally Alex.
Oh, sure, absolutely. I'd say I kind of see 2 big trends in how I see mentoring changing in the near future, and already has to some degree. One is that I think there's an increasing appreciation that the people being mentored have a lot to offer already. And so even though you might be green to the working world or whatever it might be, like your perspectives, opinions, your background may be underrepresented at the table. And so there's this cross-generational mentoring that I think we're going to move into a really beautiful era of that, where like everyone can get kind of their act together through the exchange of ideas and mentorship, and it can be mutually beneficial. So I'm really looking forward to that. And so a trend I see perhaps is that there could be alternate mentoring frameworks by which groups of people mentor groups of people. You see that in awesome places like the Coven, which my niece is a member, so I learned a little bit about you through there. But I have a thing I do with my friends called Collabo, where I bring 15 people I think they would benefit from meeting. They bring 15 people that I would benefit from meeting, and then we look for connections. Is at one of those events in Uptown Minneapolis 5 years ago that I met my wife. I did not intend. I didn't come there with the objective of meeting someone to be my wife. I went there for business purposes. But the serendipity that can come from that. So that's just one of many different alternate, mentoring frameworks that I think are worthy of exploring in the next 5 to 10 years.
Oh, those are really, really thought-provoking and super fun to hear all the connections that you've made so far. It also brings to mind just another quick plug for that Maroon and Gold network that the Alumni Association offers. One of the features of it is alumni to alumni mentoring. And we sort of launched it with this idea that recent grads would be reaching out to more seasoned grads for advice. But we've actually seen that happen, and the reverse, where we've seen folks who are maybe on the cusp of an encore career reaching out to more recent grads for advice on things like connecting with millennials and Generation Z, or utilizing social media to the fullest extent. So absolutely, that we need to break out of those sort of traditional ways that we've been trained to think about mentorship. How about you, Chantal?
Yeah, I alluded to this earlier, but I think one of the biggest ways I see mentorship changing is more like what is recognized as mentorship. Like, so much of our interactions with peers, or like in my case, recent grads, like the people just a step above you in your career, so to speak, or like just 5-10 years ahead of you, who we would, I think, typically just think of as friends, have really become like meaningful contributors to advice giving. And I think what's unique is not that they've become meaningful contributors. I think people have been going to their friends for advice for a long time, but that they're being recognized as such. And in the workplace in particular, there's become a broader recognition for the importance of like having connections among people in similar spots as you, whether that's people with similar cultures, people with similar religious backgrounds, people at the same point of their life. There's so many more groups to go, like, and places to go talk to people in a really similar position to you and to get really fantastic mentorship in that way. And then, of course, as Marissa alluded to, so much more is switching online. I just like sent a LinkedIn message to someone I saw at an Energy Law event, and now we have gotten coffee 2 times in a month because we clicked and have similar interests. And she's based in Southern Indiana. Outside of a COVID world, we never would have met. There's no doubt in my mind that I never would have met her, and now she's become a fantastic mentor. So I hope some of that digital connecting sticks around.
Yeah, it was already coming up, but COVID sort of accelerated a lot of that, and we've all gotten much more comfortable with it feels like. And I'm excited to see what happens once we sort of have the choice which domain we want to be in, like how we can really maximize both spaces at the same time. Alex, how about you?
You know, Clint, you mentioned group networking, and I find that's just so interesting and truly like what the space that we built is all about, group networking. And so when we had to close due to COVID, we changed everything to virtual and had to adapt really quickly. I think, one of the things that we did to build this community was asking people to bring 5 people who they thought we would need to meet. And so our community grew exponentially over the course of a summer. And then by the time we launched a crowdfunding campaign, we had people like on our email list that were like ready to give us money to join our community. And so I think that was such a learning point about this is how, networking can work for you and, even be, profitable as a business owner. It's how you can grow a network. The other thing I'll mention too is on the mentor side of things, I think things are changing a lot in that we know how to set better boundaries for ourselves in the last year. It's, I don't have time for an hour, but I might have time for 20 minutes and we can get the same amount done in that time that maybe would have been like 15 minutes driving somewhere, sitting down, ordering lunch, then meeting for an hour, and then having to do the follow-up. And now I can, the virtual nature of everything allows for us to have a little bit more boundaries, but also allows me to like give more of myself to more people because I have maybe more time on my calendar without having to do all of the commute. So I'm actually finding it, kind of freeing and setting better expectations of like, I can't do any follow-ups with you, but if you take good notes in the meeting, I promise I'll leave you with nuggets and I'll leave you with some emails and people to reach out to. And just being really honest about what I can offer as I have like 2 kids doing distance learning. I've got, multiple businesses to run and whatnot. So I think our lives are changing in that way. And I don't see us ever going back to the time where, it was like you spend all week doing pick your brain lunches. But I do see ourselves kind of, being more supportive in different ways and maybe with a little bit more limitations.
Oh, what a great, great nugget to take away from. At this point, I kind of want to get out of the way just for a second. I've done a lot of the question asking and directing. So if there's anything that you all want to respond to that somebody else said or add, this is kind of our wrap up moment.
I'll add one. Just for all the mentees out there listening is like, I think one way to keep a good relationship with the mentors that you've had the pleasure of learning from and learning with is to maybe on the way out of the door, ask them what they're working on and how you might be able to help them. Because that's a good way to learn even more. Because whatever they're challenged with, you may be in a unique position to help with or to point them in a unique direction. Being at the University of Minnesota allows you access to a lot of really great mentors on an everyday basis. Real life isn't always like that. You have to work a little bit harder. So I think, you can bring some of that to that mentoring relationship that might create a stickier relationship that could, pay off for many years to come.
I think I would leave you with, I think asking someone to be a mentor can be really challenging and maybe scary, right? Because if I were to ask Oprah to be my mentor, I would be terrified. But I mean, the worst she could say is no. No, I don't have time, or just ignore the request. And I think, it's a lot less ego bruising than you think. So don't be afraid to ask for the meeting. Be concise in what you're looking for, be specific in the type of advice you need, because it might not be me and I might have a better resource for you. So as you're out there on the hunt for mentors and supporters and champions of yours, be really clear about what your expectations are and go after it.
Yeah, and I guess just to add to what Alex said, no one has ever been like mad that someone asked them to be their mentor. Like, it's so incredibly flattering, and being your mentors, at least being my mentee's mentor, and I'm sure being all of your mentors, has been like one of the most fulfilling things I've gotten to do this year. Being a mentor is really fun. It's fun to see where people are going. It's fun to talk about your goals, about like what scares you, because honestly, it doesn't matter where you're at in your career. Everyone's got goals and is a little bit scared of something. And they were in your shoes. If it was me like 3 years ago, for others like 10, 15, 40 years ago, it doesn't matter. They still remember how scary that was and are still honored that you want to hear from them.
Wow, I knew this would be a fun conversation, but I had no idea how full my heart would feel after our short time together. Alex, Clint, and Chantal, thank you so much for taking the time to share your stories and advice with us and have this conversation about mentorship. I wish you all the best and look forward to the days that we can be together again, or that we can again join through our screens, because it's a little bit easier, right? So wishing you a good night, and thank you again for being with us.
Thanks, Marissa.
Before we conclude tonight's event, I have one more announcement to share, and it's a really fun one. In recognition of our mentors' commitment to our students, we are pleased to offer them a gift of your choosing from the special collection on the Minnesota Alumni Market. If you're not already familiar with the Minnesota Alumni Market, it originated from a desire to help alumni businesses connect with and support the alumni community. The market features everything from home goods to apparel to custom items you can find only on the Minnesota Alumni Market. So mentors, tonight you'll receive an email with a special code to redeem a gift on the Minnesota Alumni Market. While you're selecting your free gift, you'll have that opportunity to add the Alumni Association membership that I mentioned earlier, which would include that free student membership for your mentee. Thank you again for everything you have done to support University of Minnesota students in this past year. It was great to share this evening with you all, and congratulations on the end of another successful year of mentorship. This concludes the 2021 Mentor Appreciation Celebration. We look forward to the day when we're able to safely gather again at McNamara Alumni Center. Until then, go Gophers and Ski-U-Mah. And I can think of no better way to close us out than with the Minnesota Rouser. So please sing UMN proud and loud from wherever you are.